But the reality is, and we all know the statistics, diets don't work. Who here has dieted? Every dang person in the room. I have dieted. I was going to start my speech with a story, but it would have taken the whole 20 minutes. I'm just going to touch on pieces of it throughout my talk. But these are statistics that we can look at and read, and these are facts. 90 to 95% of all dieters regain their weight within 1 to 5 years. The typical American makes 4 diet attempts a year. 40 to 60% of all American high school girls are dieting. I was one of those. I was a vegetarian for about a year. There was one year where I ate Jell-O and turkey breast. That was actually the year that I met my husband. That was interesting. Okay, 35% of occasional dieters progress into pathological dieting or disordered eating, and as many as 25% advance to full-blown eating disorders. Do we see the pattern? Yes. 75% of American women surveyed, 75% of American women surveyed endorse unhealthy thoughts, feelings, or behaviors related to food or their bodies. I'm just going to let that one sink in. Who here thinks that you might be part of that 75%? Amen, sister. So what makes the paleo diet different? This is something that I had to work through and think about when I first started the paleo diet. I definitely had a diet mentality. When I started eating paleo, I thought, you know what? This isn't a diet. I actually feel good. But you can't erase the brainwashing that we've all been through over years and years and years of living in America. You can't undo that unless you do some serious critical thinking about what food does to our bodies and how we respond to it. So after I started feeling better, I was doing things like, I got to weigh the zone. I'm going to weigh and measure because things have to be better than they are right now because I have to look great. And this is how you look great. So I would eating like a mountain of broccoli and a little piece of chicken, and I was neurotic and crazy and I didn't know what to do. So that didn't work. So I was like, maybe I need to do low carb. Maybe I should do high carb. And all that did in the end was it took me back to a place, although my tummy aches were gone, it took me back to a place where I still hated the relationship that I had with food. So that first couple years of me paleo dieting, I knew it wasn't a diet. I was logical about it, but it felt hard. It felt like I was doing all those things that I used to do. So eating food that follows the rules, in my opinion, equals dieting. So think about it for a minute. Are you putting paleo in front of everything that you're eating? Because that, to me, looks like a diet. Because if you follow a list of rules, you're still not understanding how your body might react to certain foods. Are you worried constantly about what's on your plate, how much and when? Raise your hand if you've been there. What do we do? What do we do about that? Old diet dogma. So this is how I have helped myself, how I've helped people that listen to our podcast, how I've helped my clients in the gym. We're all unique. We're all different. I know Rob likes to say, sorry, we're not all unique snowflakes. But when it comes to our health and how our bodies respond to food and who we are all unique. My paleo looks different than your paleo. Your paleo looks different than her paleo. However, when we first start this lifestyle, we look at that set of rules and we try and fit it all into our own bodies, and it doesn't necessarily work. Figure out who you are and who you are not. You have to know. Maybe you have an autoimmune disease and I do not. Maybe you have a thyroid condition and you don't. You cannot fit the rules of paleo into every single person's body unless you know who you are. So it takes research, it takes learning, it takes understanding, it takes asking the hard questions. Stop asking, is this paleo? I have had emails from people who are like, I grew this wonderful garden and it had green beans and I always grow green beans and I've been eating green beans all summer. And then someone came to me and they said, oh my God, green beans are not paleo. I'm devastated. I'm like, how do you feel? I feel fine. Okay, take a deep breath. I think you're going to live to see tomorrow. You're gonna be okay. So please, stop asking if this is paleo. Instead, ask, how do I feel? Is this food going to nourish me? Is it nutrient dense? Will this choice make me thrive? For me, that has helped my perspective and my relationship with food so much to just look at the food as what it is rather than putting a label on it. For me, gluten is not my paleo. Sugar is not my paleo. Every now and then, enchiladas on corn tortillas are my paleo because I know how my body's going to respond, and I know at this point what I can and cannot do.